I want to show you a scale, a 5-note scale that just might be the most important and is certainly the most practical thing you can learn as a musician. You know the name of this scale, but I'm not going to say it because I want you to think of it as a shape for the time being. Once you know this shape and this scale and you start recombining it, you can play almost any kind of genre: rock, pop, R&B, country, soul, funk, folk. Just about anything once you know this scale. I'm going to show you the shape first. They're here and here. So by now you've probably realized that we're in the key of A. I'm about to play over a track that is in F sharp minor. They are one and the same. The exact same notes work over both A and F sharp minor. I'm going to start by using this shape, but then I'm going to quickly go into more free playing so I can show you what it's like when you know this scale over the entire fretboard. First, I'm going to turn on my delay, and then I'll turn on a little bit of gain, and we'll dive in. So what I did there was use those 5 notes. I referred to that shape a lot, but I also did one other thing that's very easy. I change positions by sliding my fingers up and down the neck on one string. Generally, if I'm sliding down, I'm using my index finger, and generally, if I'm sliding up, I'm using my little finger or my third finger. That allows me to change positions in the middle of phrases. So every position change is musical, and if nobody was looking at the guitar, you wouldn't know where in the phrase, where in the music, your hands changed position. So everything stays musical. So this chart is the pentatonic scale in the key of A on every string. Now, if you want, you can come back and just freeze this video on the chart and learn these positions. Each one of these, I'll either go down to with my index finger or up to with my third or fourth finger, and I'll be in a new position. And once you learn this, you can go everywhere on the neck. You can literally stay on one string with one finger and make really good music. But the idea that you're in the middle of a phrase and you can just slide your index finger down to a new position allows you to basically change neighborhoods, obliterate boxes, because you're just playing everywhere. You don't even see the boxes anymore. So what I'm suggesting is, in addition to learning this shape, try and learn in the key of A, the pentatonic, there I said it, the pentatonic scale using one string and one finger. To demonstrate, I would start here. Or here. Now, depending on where I'm starting, I run out of real estate. So you're not going to be able to play the whole scale, or you'll start in a different place on the scale to actually learn this. On the A string, we start with open. But you see how I'm sliding up with my third finger? That puts me in a new location to actually play music. And then I start changing stuff around. I jumble it up. I reverse stuff. I mix stuff up. I pull strings. I slide around. I play slow. I play fast. I leave spaces. I make phrases. And we have music. Let me switch to another track and play another solo, put a little delay on, a little more boost, and really try and go for it. Here we go. Okay, real quick, let's review. We have this shape that basically allows us to go diagonally and play pentatonic across the fretboard. And then we have one string playing where we use one finger going down or up to do the same notes, same scale. Real quick, we're giving away 30 free guitar lessons. Click the link below for instant access. So we've learned these two simple strategies for playing pentatonic, playing these 5 notes over any song, okay? Now, let's just look at the boxes for a second. I don't say the word box when I play all over the neck, but I do see the boxes. So it's worth talking about them for just a second and showing them to you. So here's the first one. Here's a second one. And a third. And a fourth. And a fifth. Which returns us to the first box, an octave up. Now, as I said, I don't say the word box in my head. I don't see the boxes, but it's legitimate to say there are 5 boxes and to learn them. It'll help you navigate the whole fretboard. Now, I want to take it one step further. Once you learn this pentatonic grid all over the fretboard, and we're in the key of A, you just shift it up 2 frets if you want to be in the key of B, down 2 frets in the key of G. So it's a template that shifts. That gets easy too once you start to do it more often. But what I want to do is add in the other 2 notes that make it a 7-note scale. So A major becomes, rather than the pentatonic scale, it simply becomes a 7-note scale. And once you just slot in those other 2 notes, then you truly do know the entire fretboard. So I would take it in steps. And let me demonstrate over the track what happens when you make this a 7-note scale. I've been restricting myself to a 5-note scale, and restricting yourself is great. A lot of rock kind of has to be 5 notes to sound like rock. But the 7-note scale adds even more color to it. Here we go, I'll show you. Yeah, there's a big danger for me in using the 7-note scale because it's a very clear and present danger because I'll just start playing scales. And the best way to use those extra 2 notes is just as little flavors here and there because I will just go. In fact, I just did in that performance. So yeah, this heritage, it's standing the test of time. And somebody commented, I love the comment about Phil McKnight getting a better top than this one. And you know, you're right. I saw that top. I saw it on Instagram and I thought, Phil's getting a better top than mine. So what I've got to do is do the work and try and get them to find another top and pay for another one of these someday. So that's the solution. If I decide to do it, I'll let you know. But you're right. But he really warrants it. He loves heritage. And they're making, you know, the thing about Phil, he wants the same stuff that I want. He wants the 60s slim taper neck. He wants the jumbo frets. He wants the chambered body. We totally agree on what this thing should be. So it's kind of funny that way. So I'm glad he's getting the heritage of his dreams. But yeah, I really like this one. You know, it's funny. The 5-note scale is still the winning scale for so many things. And you guys know, I was talking to my Masterclass members yesterday. We had our wonderful really kind of slow and boring. I looked at it, and I was kind of boring yesterday, but thanks to all of you who stayed with me for an hour. I mentioned how it really comes from the blues scale. It comes from playing blues. And I mean, it's a legit thing to stay with those 5 notes, even after, playing all kinds of music, all kinds of things for your whole life. But the 7-note scale is great too, as long as you don't do what I just did a minute ago and turn it into, here I am playing scales over music. You don't want to play scales over music. You want to just use it as flavors. Let me just demonstrate that really quick to you. It'll be quick, promise. Here we go. Oh, gotta find my moment here. Gotta find my thing. That's that extra note, and that's what I like to do. That is the best thing to do. Yeah. So thanks for showing up today, guys. I really, really appreciate it. Click the link below if you want 30 free guitar lessons, instant access. And you can have access also if you join the Masterclass. Try the 2-week free trial. You can have access to our members-only live streams, which are really, really fun. Yeah, so the other thing, that really, really is important, and I'm going to demonstrate this now too, is that it's important to take breaks and leave pauses in your playing, and you get great benefits from that. The audience likes your playing better, and your hand gets a rest. I'm going to show you that. I guess the other thing I demonstrated there is playing slow. I love slow playing. I mean, somebody brought up the idea of guitar limitations the other day, and I was thinking, do you think that Keith Richards feels like he has limitations as a guitar player? Well, of course he does, but it doesn't bother him. He's doing his thing. Billy Gibbons, all these guys who I love from the era when I was 10 years old in 1968, they play simple. And so my message to you guys is, simple guitar playing is so effective just because the tone of an electric guitar is so powerful when you play simple. And all these guys we love, Joe Walsh, Billy Gibbons, Eric Clapton, let's throw him in there, Keith Richards, all these guys, they play slow, they play simple. And to me, it's the greatest. But the other thing that I have to bring up also is that I read an article where Al Di Meola said that Matteo Mancuso would be judged historically by his body of work as a composer. And that is a legitimate thing. I mean, a lot of our guitar heroes today are the most amazing guitar players in the world, but the emphasis is more on the guitar playing and less on the compositions. So I think that's the next level for these guys, to actually write music that stands the test of time. That was a really, really great comment. I love Al Di Meola, and I love his playing these days. It's like him and Steve Lukather, they're playing these days. There's something about it that's even better than when they were just out of the gate in their 20s. The other guitar player I really like, who I'd like to interview, is Rabea Masad, if that's how you say his name. He has kind of that Steve Lukather touch, and I love all his choices, his chordal choices, his sound choices. He's got kind of an old school, he's a young man, but he has kind of an old school approach that reminds me of 70s, 80s, 90s kind of stuff. So the other thing I would say to you is, when you do this, when you play pentatonic or use a 7-note scale, when you do this, make sure you punctuate phrases. And that means put a button on a phrase. Make sure you can begin with some, something strange or something not that focused, but always end your phrase with a defined ending, usually a chord tone. Let me demonstrate that. And punctuate. Make some notes loud and some notes soft. Pick hard some of the time and pick soft some of the time. And for this composition, it's pretty cool because major and minor are identical. So there's a situation where I went off the grid. As long as I land on a confident chord tone, you can just play crazy for a minute if you want. As long as I hit that note at the end of that crazy phrase, then I'm safe. And particularly over the major part of this, use some open strings if you want. So I got to do something really cool the other day. I went down to the Fender factory in Corona, and I thought I would be in a very corporate kind of high-tech environment. And in some ways it was that, but I was really impressed by the fact that there are people sitting at benches doing the work that was done in the 50s in exactly the same way. Tons of people, men and women, sitting at benches, manufacturing and finishing and preparing parts just like in the 50s. And then you look over this way and there's the most sophisticated CNC machine doing its work too. And so it was much more old school and much more soulful than I expected. It was really nice. I mean, you have to go through security. And I was only in one of the buildings. I would love to see the amp building too, but the guitar manufacturing building in Corona, it's a very soulful place. And as I said, you know, everybody's really happy to be there, as you might imagine. The other thing, and I'm going to make a video about this, I filmed the whole thing. The other thing is they have a place called Guitar Heaven. And what that is, you know, it's a really, really tall ceiling in the factory. And there is a dry cleaner conveyor belt, which, you know, this is a fantasy some of us have had. If you could put your guitars on a dry cleaner conveyor belt and then just have it delivered right to you, like if I could have that right here, it'd be great. They have that. And so what it is, at the ground floor, when a guitar is finished with paint and needs to dry, they put it on this dry cleaning thing. And in the ceiling, there are hundreds of guitars drying, and you don't see it. You're looking, and Alex says, "Hey, look up! Look at Guitar Heaven." You look up, and it's the most magical thing to see hundreds of different colors of guitars hanging, drying. It's amazing. What's a CNC machine? It's the computer machine that cuts your neck exactly the same way. I am a big fan of that. And you know, the crazy thing, Tom Anderson was the first guy in the guitar business to buy a CNC machine for his factory. He actually took money out of his mortgage. It was so expensive. What it does is it makes everything consistent. And I'm a big fan of CNC machines because if you pay money for a guitar, you kind of want it to be the best version of that guitar. And the computer in the machine cuts the neck exactly the same way with no flaws. And of course, it's all finished. A lot of these processes are started and finished by human beings. All of them are, as a matter of fact. So what it does is it just makes the wood, cutting the wood, perfect, and other stuff like that. So yeah, they're amazing. They're a big part of you know, Like a robot using a router. Very well put. Yeah. But they do all kinds of, they design them to do anything and everything. Anyway, check out the organ on this song. It's my friend Jeff Babco. Hats off to him. You know what? I am going to solo him and me and show you what Jeff sounds like. When we make these jam tracks, Nigel programs drums, I play bass and guitars, sometimes Nigel plays guitar too, and then I send it to Jeff Babco and I pay him to play organ on it. And Jeff, this is a real Hammond organ with a real Leslie, mic'd up in stereo. It sounds like the best studio in town. And then you get Jeff Babco, who is the best keyboard player in the world. I love that. And the thing about Jeff's playing is, and great musicians are like this, the more you listen, like a month later you listen, this sounds even better. It just gets better over time. So anyway, Jeff is on the Jimmy Kimmel Show every afternoon. You can hear him there. And he does all Steve Lukather's solo records. We all love him more than anybody else in the world. We really, really do. Robin Ford. Yes. Babco, he played with Steely Dan this year. He played with Robin Ford. He's played with Larry Carlton. Yeah, everybody loves Jeff. Okay, so I am going to, so you like slinkies? I love using elixirs because my hands sweat and I ruin strings very, very quickly. And they last forever. They're very expensive. We know that. I'm okay with that. In a way, they're not expensive because I can leave a set of elixirs on a guitar for about a year sometimes. And that is very convenient, not having to change strings. So I pay for them, and I recommend them. I have the kind of fingers that sweat a lot. And I was talking to the guys yesterday. The reason I can hold my pick like this is because my hands are sweaty. And that ruins strings. But with elixirs, it's just kind of crazy. Anyway. Blessing and a curse. So here's this clean tone. It's not as loud. In some ways, I like it better for this. But now I'm craving more power. That's when I talk about simplicity, it's just so effective to do simple things on electric guitar. And even a little mistake is actually kind of cool on guitar. If you have the right attitude, bumping the strings. It's pretty fun. This is a 73 Dunlop Flex, and it's a bigger one. Used to use smaller picks. I'm into this big one now. I say this all the time, but change up your picks from time to time. Try different things for different reasons. But I like this because I can tuck it, and then go to the fingers. Quite a bit of overdrive there. Anyway, guys, I'm going to give you back your weekend. We're at the end of our live stream, and please click the link below for 30 free guitar lessons, instant access. But have a great weekend. I really appreciate all your support and being part of this. Thanks so much. We'll see you guys on the next one. Enjoy the pentatonic scale.